Hello and welcome to another video tutorial of spiritual awakening. The topic of today is guilt, and I'll jump in right away. When you are in your spiritual process, looking for your existential answers, looking for who you really are, and you are in this time frame where nothing seems to work out anymore, your life is falling apart, your interests are falling apart, everything seems to cost a tremendous amount of energy in order to accomplish. And also your relating to other beings, to other people, is changing. The relating to your closest ones, your family, your friends, your social networking, your professional contacts that you have, they all start to change. Now, it is not a change which is happening overnight. It is a change which is gradually imposing itself. And very often we are confronted or we are challenged by a feeling of guilt. And I want to support you in this matter, that it is not necessary. See where the guilt is coming from, and we'll talk about later on, but it is unnecessary to feel guilty about it. Like, when you are in a spiritual process and you are experiencing that your life is crumbling apart, you are de-identifying with whatever you had on experiences in your life so far. All the information that we stored on our hard drive, our memories, our values and norms, our personality, everything what we identified with is coming to crumble, is going to fall apart, is going to fall away. Now, it's a very natural process, even though the time frame where you're in and the experience that you have might vary with other people. And this is where it comes from. Like, everyone is going through some questioning about existence. Everyone is going to face some questions. Some is looking for answers in this life. The most common one is there a God, for example? And everyone has his own interest, has his own unfolding of his own life, and has also his own rhythm, his own speed of becoming aware or being able to let it happen, this awareness. Now, this is where it comes from, the feeling of guilt. Like, you sense that you're relating to other people, in first instance to your closest ones, as I said, your family, is changing. Like, you are trying to explain what is happening in your life, and it seems that your life is about suffering and it's not working out, and you're trying and try and error and you go back and forward all the time, but it's not really coming to something really consistent and concrete. And you're trying to explain what is happening to your dearest ones. But soon you will notice that there is this incomprehension. They don't really understand what is happening. And although they have the best intentions with you and towards you, it's not really coming forth and it's not really helping. Because you see, it's your process, it's the way that you are walking, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have walked the way in the past. So it's not because you are now on the way to Rome that they have been in the past to Rome, or that they know by experience what there can be seen along the way to Rome, and they cannot follow. And then not only towards our closest ones, but also on the level of friendships. As I said, also your social networking is completely changing, because you sense that this energy that you had then together by sharing, coming together, doing things together, is now costing energy, or you don't find the necessity anymore in order to do so. And very often it is received on the other side as you're changing, what is happening to you, and our friendship is questioned now. Now, it's all very natural, because you are changing, you are becoming more aware of yourself, you are getting closer and closer to your own soul. And as I said, this is something so personal, so individual, that it has its own speed, it has its own way of working itself out. It's not because it is fall that all the caterpillars are cocooning on the very same moment, you see? And not all butterflies coming out in spring at the same very moment. So this is what is happening. And the guilt is very often induced by the change of relating towards others, and you feel like you don't fit in anymore, or the relating is you don't need it anymore, and you are start to questioning yourself, you are start looking for blame, and you feel guilty. And even though you really want to, or you have the best intentions in order to keep up, it is simply not working from the inside out, because inside the way where the path where you are going, it is growing, and it tells you something different. It tells you something which you need to follow, which you need to address, which you need to pay attention to, and it's becoming more and more you. So these contacts over time, you will notice that some of them will fall away entirely. You will notice that some of them will stay, but the relating is going to shift to another level or another dimension. Or you're not going to have a relating which is so frequently, or not on the same way or on the same content as in the past. Because you're becoming more aware, you're purifying yourself, and to say things very easy, you can't keep up with things which are not corresponding to your own self, to your inner self. You are not putting any energy anymore in things which are not a contribution or an extension to your consciousness, to your awareness, to your energy field. And certainly not with people who are using you for emotional sewer. They use you and your friendship in order to dump what they have, and then they're gone. And you can't keep up with the bullshit anymore of life. So you become more and more pure, more and more yourself. But there is no reason to feel guilty about it. It is a first reflex of your mind, because you want to keep up and you want to hang on with all the best intentions. But you notice that it's not working eventually, and that the relating with yourself, with you, your soul, is gaining importance and is of more value than the relating with someone else, for whatever reason it might be. So this is what I wanted to give you in terms of feeling guilty and generating guilt in yourself. But you will know this, maybe not in the beginning of your spiritual journey, maybe not in the middle, even though it's quite difficult to say where you are in your spiritual journey, because it's never ending, but it is shifting to a complete other dynamic and a complete other energy. That the more you will start following yourself, accepting it, accepting the process and letting happen, and dropping all the information or the values that you acclaimed beforehand, that it is becoming an advantage for you. You are becoming more truthful to yourself, and there relies your real self, there relies your power, which is untouchable for anyone. Once you establish this contact, you will notice there's the truth for you in that, and when it increases this contact, you will start to understand which place you have in the world, and you will also understand why you were looking, or why you were creating this guilt, and that it was completely unnecessary, because the state where you're going to, there is completely no guilt anymore. There is no guilt whatsoever. There is pureness, there is contact with your soul, there is contact with yourself, and there is so much beauty in that guilt has no chance to survive. So this is what I wanted to give you along on this topic of guilt, and hopefully it might serve you in one way or another.